Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Must I stand or sit?
You can sit.
Okay, that's much better. Too tall. My name is Rendana Morovi. I am from PotatoSA, South Africa. I'm responsible for the transformation division. I'm not here alone. I'm here with a whole team from my CEO to the chairperson of the transformation and also our consultant specialist, which I think most of the farmers of the Eastern Cape are very much familiar with. Because I'm from Limpopo, in my culture, we allow our seniors to lead first. So I would like to give this opportunity to my CEO to actually give the opening remarks.
Please, you can join us in front.
Please, everyone. Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Lindani, for the introduction as well. And also acknowledging our team members that has made their time available, Chair of the Transformation Committee and the rest of the team, and also Vianney, who's actually part and parcel, used to be on our board as well. He's online. So I think the most important thing that we need to establish from PotatoSA South Africa's side is our purpose and where we fit in the bigger picture, so that we can also get to understand what the ecosystem looks like. So PotatoSA South Africa is established under the Marketing of Agricultural Products Act, where we get a statutory levy from our commercial farmers. And the governance in this, and I want to read you what the purpose is of the NMC Act. It says the purpose of the 1937 Marketing Act and the Marketing Act of 1968 was to promote price stabilization and narrow the gap between producer and consumer prices. So this is the initial conversation that was on the table. Now, how this process evolved is that our increased capacity function that we have is to increase the market access to all participants. That's the first thing. The second one is also to promote the efficiency of marketing of agricultural products. Now, all the participants that are functioning under the Marketing of Agricultural Products Act has to adhere by these rules. And then to optimize export earnings and improve the viability of the agricultural sector. And I think the most important thing about improving the viability of the agricultural sector is to make sure that we introduce proper farmers into the bigger communities. Potatoes, as you've heard, quite a massive CV for that matter, has got the ability to feed nations. And I think one of the things that's probably most important, it's one of the only vegetable crops or one of the only starch crops for that matter that has got a full functionality in terms of diet. So you can actually get stranded on a deserted island with potatoes and you'll survive. You don't need anything, even the moisture that you need is there. So the importance of that in terms of sustaining communities and also to be able to build, let's call it wealth, because we're also living in a space where we have to create wealth and welfare for the communities as well. Is the fact that not only does it provide nutrition, but it also gives trading capacity as well. And that gives viability of earnings going forward. So I think from our side, as a final point, if you evaluate our work that we need to do, we are here to organize the industry, specifically on that space, to grow the industry, have funds to pay for important functions, and then the most important thing is to increase the competitiveness of the industry. And those are the measures that you need to take us to task on, to make sure that as the potato industry support, we are also being able to bring this capacity even to the smallest and the most rural areas in South Africa.
Thank you very much. Right. Back to you.
Okay, thank you. I think as I highlighted, I'm responsible for transformation, and I forgot your name.
Yeah,
very bad at names. We have a mandate to ensure that enterprises within potato are established, and commercialization of Black or farmers of color is one of the biggest mandates we have. By having that throughout South Africa, we're not only creating agribusinesses, we are also addressing the socio-economic issues, employment, food security, and also inclusivity. That's why we're coming from transformation, like you indicated. To date, I think the ratio of Black farmers within the potato commodity is still lagging behind. I'm hoping we'll get the opportunity to address why and how we can be able to speed up at least some presence and increase the percentage. And our role as transformation is to ensure that those deliverables are met. And it's also aligned with the NDP. Our job is to ensure that there's food security, employment, and enterprises everywhere, left and right, like you indicated. But we go even deeper. I think that the other challenge, to have somebody like Louis, it takes a lot of skills, it takes a lot of experience. Hence, we also have an added program which focuses on bursaries and skilling and training for students previously disadvantaged, students from rural communities to be able to become specialists in the agri sector. And we also provide placements with that regards to ensure that they've got relevant exposure for the industry. And that will play a bigger role towards sustainability, because I think one of the greatest challenges is having the necessary skills to be able to take care of those enterprises. And people with the right skill sets are essential. And in order for us to achieve that, I think from the past years, with our former transformation manager being there, we actually realized that partnership is the way to go. So most of our deliverables, we are able to achieve them through that. And in a province like Eastern Cape, I think when the program started, obviously this is a province where potatoes were already being practiced. It was just a matter of intensification. The footprint has been widely spread. And although that was the case, we've not been able to achieve the targets that we had set for ourselves. Yes, we've had success stories, but through partnership, capital support, we might be able to achieve that speedily. Because I think the challenge that we've had so far is that we've got a lot of developmental initiatives that are all focused on transformation, but independently. The department might be doing the same thing, same clients, but now the question is our support going to the farmer at the same time, or is it addressing their immediate issues towards elevating them from being small growers to smallholders to eventually commercialization? And I think that's where we are missing the link in this province. Yes, we've had successful initiatives. And ECRDA is one of the partnerships that we've had to ensure that we at least achieve a certain level. And we can only strengthen it going further and learn from other provinces. So far, maybe I can indicate is that Limpopo is currently doing very well, because they have adopted a commodity approach in different regions, and that has assisted them in being where they are right now. And I think from these platforms, I've had and seen a lot of stakeholders that I know when I live here, I'll be contacting to say, look, collectively, we can be able to do better to enhance transformation of the potato sector.
Thank you. I know we've got very many audiences here, so I just want you to just summarize in terms of main points or main messages to what are your messages, the main messages to emerging farmers? I'll just ask you to just give 3 or 4 points.
Okay, I think growth is gradual. I think that's the first step. That is why we've got a number of programs that are aimed and targeted at certain deliverables. I think what we've seen so far is that I don't know. I'm not Zulu, but there's this word that I like using. Namya phone. It means I also want it. But I think so far we are running such a credible program, which involves a tight criteria to ensure that whoever is being put into the program of development fits that particular criteria and be able to go through the correct pace of growth. And I feel that farmers should look into that. Not everybody is supposed to be commercial. There are social projects. There are people who've got issues of land. So in as much as PotatoSA is here, we have programs that caters for everyone. Social project, food security projects, and enterprises, like you said. So I think they must learn what to grasp. And we need to move away from being a nation that depends on, or farmers that depends on grant. What we would like to see, which is what our program has, because we don't actually fund comprehensive funding for the farmers. Currently, our program funds a seed component, and then through partnership, we're able to source external funding for infrastructure and so forth. It's good to go and develop somebody that has a zeal. The CEO mentioned that potatoes were practiced. It might not have been in a technical right way that Louis will approve, but what is important is let's develop people that are already doing something. We need to try to avoid imposure development. Yes, we can sensitize communities. We have that program for that. But let's try to focus on what's currently working, develop them from where they are. Let's maybe the perspective of this province is that we currently have got two extreme programs. We've got the small grower, which is basically a program we use to enter communities where we get to identify potential farmers, and it's very much aligned with what food security offers, mainly aligned with the department. And then we've got an extreme end, which is the enterprise development, which mainly focuses on bigger farmers. Land, have access to land, infrastructure, okay, we'll coordinate the rest, funding and markets. We need to develop the farmers in the middle. PotatoSA is a commodity group. We don't know where they are. We don't know who they are. Really will agree with me. We struggle to get just a database. Who are the farmers? How do we help them? We don't have that information. So I think visibility is key. I think farmers need to.
Let's say you do know them, know who they are. What will you do? I think we can partner with you on that one.
We already have a functional model that we're using. Immediately we know who they are. We come and assess their needs, both for production, training, and then to yourselves, we draft a proposal to express, okay, these are the farmers we found, this is what they require, and then this is how we can step in, this is how much we're requesting from you or what support we're requesting. Because that's the missing link. It sometimes looks as if development is focusing on farmers that are known by everyone, because we don't know how to identify.
These elements are they in your presentation? Do you want a little bit of time just to get into that now, and then we can I just want to get a sort of a seamless into the meat now, because I think you've now teased us now in terms of we're very interested now, especially on the details of it. So again, it will just allow you maybe 10-12 minutes just to run through it, just the chief elements, so that we can just, and again, apologies for just teasing out some key elements, but I think we're now ready for the meat, as it were, the flesh.
The meat and potato.
The meat and the potato.
Yeah, okay. So basically, the transformation program has got 4 programs.
So just tell us which slide you want us to be on, and then we can.
Okay, just go to the second one. Let's touch that. The next one. Next one. Okay, maybe I can start from there. I can start from the map. Start from the map. There's already enough that has been said regarding potato production. And then this just gives you an overview of where potato is being done. The only place we don't have there is the space, but
you can work on that.
We can actually plant potatoes throughout the whole of South Africa. Of course, there are areas where it's dominating, it's prevalent, and then there's commercial units. So the figures you see there is basically the commercial units, which is because there's been enough work done to know where they are, what they're doing, how many hectares they're planting. This is the information that would be intriguing to have at a smallholder or entry commercial level, because currently we only know the farmers that we are servicing as PotatoSA, not potato farmers across SA. So you can see, I think for your side, Eastern Cape, unlike the other provinces, it's still pretty much producing less hectares of potatoes, even at a commercial level. But I think you shouldn't worry too much about that. I think you're one of the most privileged provinces so far. You still have regions where you can produce potatoes dryland. There are farmers who are worried about Eskom, load shedding, the price of electricity. Farmers, some farmers in this province are so privileged, and that just highlights to you the potential that we can achieve in the Eastern Cape. Okay, move to the next slide. That's just the historic.
Joined and then they left their mic on. It's fine.
The historic hectares planted over time in South Africa. I think if you can all see there, from the 1990s, there was more hectares planted, but less yield. And from the talk that you've heard here is that potatoes has been done or planted throughout generations to a point where now we've mastered it. We can actually plant less hectares and get more, if not double, the tonnage, meaning that we don't have issues in production. We just need to find other avenues to ensure that those that need to be part of the developmental key are part of that. So you can see, although the hectares are reducing, the yield it's actually going up over the years, and it's something that we can take from there to say, look, we don't have a production issue. We've got a capacity issue, we've got a finance issue, we've got a structural issue. And throughout SA, there's multiple cultivars that are being planted. I'm not sure if the colleagues here are familiar with potato cultivars.
It will be a good question to ask them, what did they buy?
Yes.
I only know BP1.
BP1, one of the oldest cultivars in SA. Yes. So just like cars, okay, I was born not so long ago. So there was a Master 323. It was modified or reinvented to something else. Engine was changed. The same methodology here. That is why we've got a research component in PotatoSA. We've got different cultivars for different purposes. I wish people would know that when they buy potatoes, and that's also linked to certain markets. So those are just some of the few cultivars that are planted in South Africa. Of course, Mondial, those who know, it's still the one that's dominating so far. So yeah, I just wanted to reflect on that because I've had a lot of inquiries from farmers when they have to buy seed. So which one do we buy? Where do we buy it? For those that are sitting here and are working with farmers at a technical level, maybe it will be a good reflection to have the presentation and actually check. And if you need more information, we can share on which other regions are other cultivars specifically suitable for. And Louis, over the years, has ensured that we've got tailor-made information from smallholder development with regards to cultivar evaluation.
Donnie, I might just add, through the years at Sadara, we worked very closely with the Department of Agriculture. And then we selected cultivars, especially for the rural regions. Ones that are more resistant to blight. There are even some that are more resistant to dryland, to dry conditions and that kind of thing. So by selecting those cultivars, we aim to take the right ones into the right region. Excellent. Better production.
Okay, so maybe you might be asking yourself, okay, Rendani is talking too much and there's a lot of cultivars, a lot of graphs. Don't worry, we've got you. PotatoSA have got a very great platform that caters for managers, caters for economists, technical people, those who want to learn. I think we are all technologically, so who doesn't own a smartphone here?
Most people have a smartphone.
Yeah, so then you wouldn't have a problem in accessing all the data that I've been talking about and our stories as well.
So there's a PotatoSA app that is available on Android as well as on
App Store.
On the apps so iPhone. There we go.
Yes.
Want to scan quick.
So I'm hoping that when we leave here, I'll check. We'll ask FPA to check how many people actually registered today on our app. Because they are ready to take potato transformation to another level.
Excellent. No, so certainly partner with you on that one.
Yes. Okay. So I think we can go to the core of what we do in transformation now. But I wanted to just give that background just to unlock some information that will be essential for us when we conclude. We've got programs in transformation. One of them is the Enterprise Development Program. Very popular. We've got a lot of successful stories from that. Mr. Vuyani Kama, who's there, is one of our product, a graduate. It's nice to have a program that actually exits people, graduate, and then you watch them as they penetrate the industry individually, independent from grant funding. He's one of them. The program is actually very similar to most government-funded programs with regards to requirements. Obviously, one has to have land in order to participate in that. Secured land, meaning PTO, PTO, it will be lease or whatever state of land that they might have. In regions where they're irrigating, that means that they must have viable irrigation system. And like I said, the Eastern Cape is exempted from that. And I think it's them in the Free State only that can plant, I don't want to say dryland, rain-fed. Yes. And then from there, we obviously promote also the environment and soil rotation. You will have to have adequate land in order for you to rotate, because our program is a 4-year program. And then you will have to have collateral or capital to supplement, because like I indicated, we only fund the seed component, which might sound very little when one says it, but it constitute at least more than 30% of the actual total production cost. Who has access to that? Who qualifies to be actually part of the enterprise development? These are farmers that are currently farming, because you have to have mechanization. And I think what is nice is that there's FPSUs that caters for that. There's farmers who are so kind, like Mr. Vuyani Kama, who shares what he have with other developing farmers. And the government has played a role to ensure that that part does not limit farmers from entering this program. And yes, like any other organization, we go through the process of checking the viability of the business. Really indicated we are operating with levies. And it's not a bottomless budget. So we ensure that there's thorough scrutiny to ensure that people that we take on the program will utilize the money effectively. Of course, there's processes of committees, recommendation, and so forth. And then once the person is in the program, they're now subjected to a scaling down percentage. We're trying to create farmers that, we are creating farmers that are not dependent on grants. So on the first year, we'll give you 100% of the seed component. You'll get the fertilizer or chemicals if you're lucky. We submit a proposal this side, they fund your chemicals and fertilizers, and then it's a collaborative project. A second year, we scale down 25% of our support. Then you as a farmer now, remember you've made profit. You now contribute the 25%. Third year, we scale down another 50%. Fourth year, likewise. But obviously we do key in the issue of expansion. There are farmers that started like Mr. Vuyani. I will make example of Vuyani because I'm in Eastern Cape.
He's going to speak gentler, so don't take away too much of his mileage.
Yes. Yeah. So let's say, for example, he started with 3 hectares, ended up doing 20 to 30 hectares. So if you expand, we'll put the same 100% on your expansion, and then eventually you'll probably take longer to exit. But there are programs in place to ensure that farmers are sustainable. There's a full-time mentorship. Louis, in Limpopo, we've got somebody in all the provinces, we've got mentors. And training is also available, co-funding, you'll have access to that, exposure to the industry. And the idea is to be able to create a farmer that's versatile enough to go out and look for support himself without us holding his hand. And we've got smaller programs, small grower development. Food security is it's very aligned to community development, a teaching space so that we don't have volunteer potatoes coming out the next year and then there's scab and there's diseases. So it's more of a teaching. Yes, it's called a volunteer crop. If it comes out and you didn't plant it, it's a volunteer.
You eat the volunteer.
Yes, so that program basically, I think it's the core of how we market ourselves to communities. I indicated that we don't have a know-how of where is who. So when we go to communities, that's where we've got information for them to be able to know what programs we have, how can we assist them. I think in Eastern Cape, we had a very successful Farmers' Day in Maclear. Some colleagues here were there. There was people from Trimex, there was seed companies. It's a central point for us to share information. And then the third program, like I indicated, is the training component. I think skills development, it's core. If we want to achieve greatness, we must continuously learn and empower. The fourth program, our farmers, not all of them are literate. So we try to promote demonstrative learning by ensuring that they're capacitated at farm level, the farm workers, and so forth. So maybe they can just show you the partners that we've worked with over the years to ensure that we are able to deliver and we are able to be measured against our peers. And because unfortunately alone we can't do it, especially when you have to operate with such a small budget to cater for the whole of South Africa. So those are some of the partnerships we have. Some are market partners like your agro processors. We work with banks, we work with the department in different provinces, local economic development. We even work with mines. I think it's high time the mines start paying tax for I don't want to say for extracting money, but it's a good strategy. And I think in Limpopo province, we are surely mastering that. So maybe when you go to the next slide, you can see what partnership has brought to us in other provinces, which is, I think, the model that we're trying to emphasize for every province to adopt. Because by having such a success rate with the farmers that were under the enterprise development in Limpopo, the department was convinced when we went there with a list of those farmers that we were able to be given to say these are their needs. And they were able to make provision for that funding. You can skip the first, not the slide, the lines. There are 2 programs there.
Go back.
The first program is the land development support. Most of you are very familiar with that. It's a government support that's given to plus farms, land reform. Previously, it was recap. So because they are adopting a commodity approach, it's also here in the Eastern Cape, but I know you guys, you like maize, but okay.
We're going to change that. Huh?
Yeah, we are hoping that diversity will kick in. So we are currently implementing about 6 projects in the Limpopo region to ensure that their projects are sustainable, the relevant mechanization is bought, The right mentorship is provided for them in order to become commercial units, because I think they've realized that the commodity organization can facilitate that better, and value for money as well. So that's just the amount of money that has been put into those projects to ensure that land reform is big, and PotatoSA is the one that's implementing. And the projects I was indicating, you can see that there's 10 ED farmers, the last four rows there. These are projects that are funded under the cooperative and enterprise development, very in line with what you indicated. So they're developing enterprises for potatoes there. And they are not just aiming at commercialization. There's projects that are being developed and they're planting 1 hectare of potatoes supported by government, and they actually make a meaningful livelihood out of that. And of course, we are implementing that. We're facilitating the procurement, the training, and to ensure that after this initiative has passed, there's continuation. And with collaboration, we are able to rope in other commodity organizations as well. So that's just how credible we are. The department already trusts us with over 104 million, which was spent just in 2 years. So that shows you that if we can adopt this in the Eastern Cape, and given the support from the technical teams that is in the field, we can be able to achieve this and have a positive outlook and better participation. The next slide also, it's another external funding. Just by laying in bed or being part of the program, there's certain privileges that you will get. Agri Enterprise is an external fund that we were able to source for certain farmers that are almost close to exiting. Like I indicated, we take away certain percentage. So now we can see you're expanding, but you're struggling. And funders are always willing to fund us, because when we present our cases, they make sense. It's enterprises that have got a future and thriving. So you can see that number 3, there's a farmer called Aldrin Lawrence there in Limpopo. Won the Farmer of the Year 2 years or 1 year back. He's in his last year, he's exiting the enterprise development. He's recently received funding through the Agri-BEE Fund, through our initiative. So we go out to knock in doors to say, look, we've helped this farmer, this is what's missing, collaboration again. And in this instance, we know the public sector plays a huge role in development, and we are taking advantage of that. Okay, you will see the next slide that will come. It's basically the progress of the enterprise development. I didn't quote all of them. These are just all of those steps I indicated that are required in order for one to enter and be part of the program. It's tedious, but at least the turnaround time is shorter. It's not 2 years. If you're lucky, 6 months, you would have at least know what's going to happen. That's the 4-year program that I indicated, and the scaling down. And now this is one skewed and concerning.
Yes, we can see that.
Concerning part of this presentation.
Just highlight the concern for those that can't see from the back there. No?
The concern is, if you can look at the first block, it's Limpopo. It's not looking nice because I'm from there. They're doing something right. It's looking that nice because of the support. Because all the entities that have interest in potato development have gathered heads and come together and said, look, PotatoSA, we've got 5,000, we've got 200. Here's the port, we are putting it here. What can we do? Who are your farmers that you've earmarked for development? That is why you're seeing it like that, because your leader, your CEDA, your mines, your local economic development, ourselves, external funders and banks, we are having a consolidative development approach there. That is why the numbers is high, because we are putting support that is necessary and the support everywhere. So over the years, obviously the number has been more than 19. The 19 farmers are the ones that are currently there now. And if you can check there, under our program, they're planting 318 hectares plus. But there's 126 that they are planting themselves from their own pocket or from other funders like your PotatoSA Fund, PepsiCo, your VKBs and the likes. And then you look into KZN. They've got a lot of lands, but the participation has not been so good. But I can say that I think through our sensitization and hopefully if we can sell Limpopo very well, they'll be able to adopt and the number will be will be higher. But the greatest issue there is land. We mentioned that we've got the small and the extreme bigger one. And then our current criteria did not cater for the missing middle, which meant people who didn't have certain things. So we are currently working on that. And that is where we need a lot of support. We would like to present a concept that the local economic development agencies and the department can adopt. We facilitate, and then they can give us the capital to ensure that it's up and running. I'm not going to touch Western Cape, same story. There's issues of land there, and yes, but now I think we are about to go up. We've got a new project that might be coming in. Northwest, same challenge. There's certain commodities that are being prioritized, and they forget that potatoes actually create more jobs than most of those commodities, and that's what we want to do. It improves a lot of livelihood. You don't need to have skills in order to work in a potato farm. I think in 10 hectares, you can employ about 120 people during harvesting. I mean, that's almost half of a village, very small village.
Do you have these statistics that you're giving now? Is it somewhere foregrounded? No? It's often lost. What you're talking about now, no? Very important. Sorry for breaking your presentation, but it's an important facet or important bit that needs to be sort of bumped up in people's minds about jobs. You spoke just now about the type of seed that is more resilient. All of those things are like plus points. In this issue that you mentioned now, you are managing the risk by partnering, opening up doors. Those are important bits that need to be foregrounded as we get to exploit. That's why we've got this commodity on our program, because we recognize that it's an important underachiever that could be playing a massive role in the province.
Yeah, we should have that, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. As your CEO.
Sorry, through you. I think one of the things that we can also do with a lot of support is basically to enhance the conversation that you had now, is to be able to tell and record the story and to promote it. You know, we only have opportunities in forums like this to actually physically go into the detail of it, and people pick up on different facets of most. But I feel, and I see it in a lot of spaces, the development story is not being recorded on. And we need to record it in a visual way. That we would also like to get some.
So as we conclude today, later on, we're going to foreground you, we're going to interview you as well for our video as well, and then we're going to so for me, I'm always interested about, it's great to have presentations like it, but sometimes we miss the key messages that are hooking points for others to say no to something else that they really say yes to, and yes to something that they would normally say no to. We want them to change the mindset to say yes. And we're not saying everything is great, but we've got a massive opportunity that we want to take advantage of. Thank you. Sorry for that.
Yeah, I think we can provide that slide to show how many jobs are created during land prep, egg planting, maintenance, harvesting, and if you now key in the agro processing part, it becomes more. And I can add an additional slide on that. It's not part of this, but I think it's key that people, even the returns here, it's not just the jobs. You can plant a certain crop. I'm not going to mention the commodity. You can plant 300 hectares and you get this much. You plant this year, you plant 1 hectare of potato with an average tonnage of 50 tons per hectare. You make a lot of money, almost close to.
So we need those key messages coming out. And again, the platform for today is to start identifying those key messages and then sending it out there so that we can get more converts to say yes to something that they normally said no to. Just last couple of minutes just to conclude?
Okay, Eastern Cape. That's what's concerning for me.
Yeah.
After we've highlighted the potential, you don't have load shedding issues. In places like Yugi, Maklia, Mishak, maybe you can help me because I'm not so clued up about other regions in Eastern Cape that can actually do dryland production. I don't see why we are not taking that opportunity. The production input cost in Eastern Cape, where they're doing dryland or rain-fed, it's relatively less.
When we can transport.
Yeah, it's relatively less compared to, you see, you said potato is very expensive, but in Eastern Cape, they've got a discount. They've got a discount because there's rain, minus rain, and they've got the marketing here is different. They've got access to markets. They are in the market when nobody else or very few other regions are in the market. So that's one of the things that makes it, I don't understand why we are there.
Stay from now. Why there is this platform?
Please, I want to see. I hope they are recording.
No, we're going to, so we'll get to that as we get to the the sort of conclusion of the day as well. But just last couple of minutes just to conclude.
Yeah, but I think we've managed to enroll a couple of farmers between last year and now. It shows that people are understanding, and when you have testimonials from farmers that have actually made it out of the program, it becomes easier for them to actually
Get to one just now, right?
Yes,
Just now.
yes. Yeah, I think that the next slide is
Any
just.
last thoughts? You just take what you go to concluding, if you don't mind.
Yeah, the last part is that this picture is very skewed. You can look at that. Capricorn is Bembe. I want to see a different perspective. And I believe that the people didn't just come here today to add the number to this platform. We came here because we've seen the need. And I believe by us being here, it shows that you believe in our work. So far, maybe we might not have a big footprint, but I believe collectively we will be able to assist the Eastern Cape to become one of the, because I strongly believe in 2 years, we will be seeing Eastern Cape.
Come through with your.
Yeah, maybe I was saying, Chair of program leader, I might, well, mine might take a little bit, maybe 5 minutes. So I don't know whether we allow all the.
Yeah, maybe we'll give you a chance to be later.
I have got different portfolios. I sit in a board, I'm a board member of PotatoSA. I chair this committee. She talk about scrutinizes all the application, and I'm also a farmer. So I would want to touch.
That's fine. Great. Now we'll certainly do that. Right. Is that it?
Maybe let me just share one success story.
Sure.
I was hoping it would be true because I also wanted, but the next one I won't share. This, I think a lot of people, when you go to Google and say type black producer, potato producer, is one of the few that will pop up. There's 4 or 5 others that are like him and even bigger. But this person started at just 5 hectares and is now doing at 80 hectares.
80.
80.
Yes. Through that part, you see that part that says support received.
Yes.
Is the one that led him to where he is. But like most people, nobody wants to touch something that is raw. They want something that has already proven potential.
Yeah.
So we pumped him and then we put him to the market and then he sold. So this is the type of successes we want to see, and the potential is there. This person, he doesn't even attend transformation meetings. He's now a fully fledged commercial farmer. So he's transformed, he's graduated. Thank you.
Right, let's get to off this one. Let's get to a real farmer in Yugi. Guyani, are you there? We just want to get him online. Guyani, are you there? Can you unmute your mic, please? Just give him a second. Not sure whether Guyani has got load shedding challenges on that side.
It's network.
Network issues. Guyani, are you able to unmute?
Guyani, come on.
Hello.
He's here.
Maybe we'll just try and something. It's unmuted now. Let's see. Vuyani, can you come through? Vuyani, your mic's open, but we can't hear you. There we go. And someone else. Vuyani, just go down again, just to see if the mic's open.
His mic's open.
Just try.
Hello,
Yes, we can hear you.
can you hear me?
Yeah, who's speaking? Is that Vumile?
As Vuyan on Vumile's phone.
Oh, okay, great. You can see it, you can go. Thank you.
Yes, good morning, everyone. My name is Vuyan Kam, as already mentioned. I'm farming here in Eastern Cape, UK. Just close to town under the Drakensberg mountain, where we can plant without irrigation.
Excellent.
I'm planting in a farm size of 535. That's a total hectares. And then 145 arable land where I can do my crop rotation. There is a lot of challenges. I'm not sure whether I can start with challenges.
Yeah, just give us your top 2 or 3.
It's a cool room, because when I started with Potato South Africa in 2008, I was surrounded by the seed growers. So I became one of the seed growers that are producing seed in South Africa. I think Eastern Cape, we are only 4. And then we have a team with 4 members in KZN. And then it was also a washer machine and irrigation. That is only my challenges at the moment. When I started in 2008, I started only with 3 hectares, unfortunately, because I was doing the seed at that time. So without a cool room, you cannot plant that much, because you can't store your seed. What was happening, my seed was sprouting 3 times, so it's losing that weight now. When you plant it, it cannot germinate well because it's already sprouted 3 times. So that was the challenge of the cool room. I went through that program with always 3 hectares, 4 hectares, 3 hectares. And then I've got until I exit. But when I was exiting in 2017, I was already planted 20 hectares. Now I'm planting, I go down a little bit because I'm planting 13 hectares, 15 hectares, because the knock was started in 2020 when the COVID started. I was planted 18 hectares, and when the time of harvesting, in March, the COVID started, and then I couldn't sell my products, my produce. So the knock started there. And then came 2020, I was busy with the jobs fund to try to get help from there. But unfortunately, 2020, when I was approved in September, the jobs fund program came to an end. So that was unfortunately for me. So, but there's some few things that I can mention through our government. In 2015, I received recap, whereby I managed to install a washer and get some some machine to do the potatoes, like a potato planter, lifter. But machine was the washer machine was too small. So when I'm trying to upgrade it now, it's not easy. But the few things that I can mention is that helping the surrounding farmers with that slow machine of mine, small machine of mine. There's some people that are coming up, and I wish they can do better than me, because the time now maybe it's better, because there's some few funders that can come. But another unfortunate part is that if you're applying for the production loan, everyone is so skeptical when you talk, if you don't have irrigation, of which they were already mentioned that Yuki, Maclear, we don't really need the irrigation, but someone to put his money in there, you must make sure that you've got irrigation. So that's the big challenge that we are facing here in Eastern Cape. It's not easy to access the funding for production loan because we don't have irrigation. This is the few things that I can mention at the moment.
Thank you very much for that. Right, let's conclude with your input, and then we'll get to the next one.
Okay, thank you, Chair. As I said, I'm Misha and Dogemi, born and bred in Eastern Cape, Montreal. I'm a farmer, and the farming constant. I've got the farm that we released from government in 2013. I also purchased my own farm, which is 1,380 acres. In 2021, I'm a board member of PotatoSA. I also chair this committee. I plant potatoes. I plant 7 hectares. Currently, if you go to my farm now, you will get 7 hectares of potatoes planted. I've worked with different houses of people who are helping the communities from 2005 up to this date as a contractor. Some of the people here in the house, I know them from their previous jobs, not even from ECRDA where they were. In the Eastern Cape, I've planted over 10,000 hectares. People like Congo will tell you, I've worked with him for a long time as well. I do a lot of contracting. Most of the areas, especially the Formational Sky area, there is absolutely no area that I haven't touched, that I've not worked on. I understand well where potatoes can work. I understand well where you will have challenges. And yes, Rendani, there's a lot of areas like Lambasi, I've worked there. Lambasi, you plant potatoes, you will get the yield that are similar to under irrigation. Bizana Red Hub, I started 2 years when it started. I was contracting that Red Hub, doing the mechanization before they get tractors. I know there it was the rain was the main cause to delay us not to plant on time. You see, they've got plenty of rain, which is Bizana now and Bizana Red Hub. So there are a lot of even the Unga flats. I've been there as well 4 years contracting there. The rainfall in Unga flats is unbelievable. Yeah, more than 1,000 mils. So there's a lot of areas in Eastern Cape that where you can plant potatoes and you will do very well. But I want to just touch a few things about growing potatoes. The CEO said it's the easiest crop to grow. I beg to differ, it's the hardest. I plant over 600 hectares of maize for myself. I plant soya for myself. Potatoes is the hardest. It's the only crop you have to spray every week. without fail. You fail, the blind will catch you. Before Christmas, spray. Between Christmas and New Year, spray. But there's no other crop I've ever planted that would make good money, real profit, and potatoes. Nothing, no other. I will, because I'm a farmer, I sit in a board, but I'm not employed. I talk, I know one is gonna come and sue me. You can 600 hectares of my maize is equivalent to 60 hectares of potatoes in terms of the cash flow.
Yes.
The money. Yes, potatoes is a very expensive crop to plant. Maize you can get away with 18,000, maybe now 22,000 rand per hectare. Potatoes, 60,000, 80,000, but maize, you won't get more than 40,000. Potatoes, you can go over 200,000 per hectare. You see?
Yeah.
And I plant potatoes here in Coxted. My biggest buyers is Eastern Cape. Chivana, Tata, Mount Fred, all it's Eastern Cape. Especially when it comes to, you see, the biggest problem that I always cry about Congo is that potatoes are planted in mostly September, October, November. You are even late when planting November, but we plant some plant in November. Now, those potatoes will be available up until July. That's when consumers will see the price affordable. Then from August to end of December, the potatoes that we eat in Eastern Cape are coming from the Limpopo. That's why you will see the price. Yes, it's about transport and everything. But the price to produce those potatoes that are planted in March, April, there is the same price to produce potatoes that are planted here. So we're just making them to have a little bit more parts. But there are areas here in the province that are conducive. The only reason we plant in that period is frost. Potatoes need 4 good months of heat. We have got areas that are frost free. You see, even that red half, Kizana, is not far from the ocean. The ocean is down the road there in Zamba, the Lambasi. Then we have got a lot of areas that where we can plant potatoes in March and April and have potatoes that now will be coming now in this dry season, in this season where there are no potatoes around. And those people will make more than 300% profit. I know, I'm doing it. You see, they will make very well. You plant potato for 80,000 and you make 350,000 per hectare. What is the percentage of return there? So the potatoes, we need to push and make our people, but I don't want to forget one thing. Renan said we must choose people who have started. Those who are entrants, it must be people who are willing. I've seen some areas where we would plant maize and harvest. And when you have harvested maize, there's always some crops that are left behind. And people some areas will be lazy to even go and pick up those. Potatoes is a very labor-intensive crop. Potatoes, you work on potatoes. Yes, when I'm lifting, I take more than 60 casuals a day. But the most important thing, if we were going to plant potatoes in communities, people must be willing to work. But the lifter, it leaves potatoes and it leaves them on the ground. If we talk of 50 tons per hectare, which is not like a big harvest. We go up to 70 tons. We talk about 5,000 bags per hectare. 5,000 bags, and those 5,000 bags are hand-picked. The lifter will take everything and put on the ground, and that is all hand-picked and hand-packed. You see, so people must be willing to work. You make good money, but people must be willing to work. And what is now the biggest challenge in these communities is theft. Potatoes, people, even if they want to steal, they don't know how to work. They want to they want to what is easy. Potatoes is under the ground. So I'm happy to see this happening, and I'm wishing that it is not only this. If now there would be some areas that will be identified, we can be able to work closer to those areas to help them, to make them know and do well, because you put a lot of money, you want that money back. Thank you.
Great.